How can we benefit from understanding the power of the circle of life? That is the issue that we're going to be addressing today on Flourish-Meant. I'm your host, Tina Yeager. Flourish-Meant is sponsored by Access More.
Do you want to go deeper in your faith even while you're on the go? No matter how busy the season you're in, Access More has a library of faith-based podcasts to help you grow spiritually. With podcasts from Christian thought leaders such as Christine Kane, Lisa Harper, Taryn Wells, and Bob Goff. You can hear podcasts on religion, culture, family, entertainment, and so much more. Access More gives you a safe space to find inspiring conversations about faith. Start listening today at accessmore.com.
Today I have with me Stacy Shewey, and she is involved with a tremendous mission that involves this very topic of the circle of life. She began her career with Hyatt Hotels and Resorts, but after many years in the hospitality industry, she felt the call to take her experiences and knowledge to those in developing nations, and she began to understand the need in those places for serving the vulnerable, the forgotten in the senior population. It was then with that revelation that Hands for Life was born. She is now the founder and CEO of Hands for Life, and she's here to talk to us today about the need and the message of understanding the power of the circle of life. Welcome, Stacy. I'm so glad that you're on Flourish-Meant today.
Thank you. I am too.
Tell us a little bit more about your story. You shared a little bit in your bio, but tell us what really led you to make that huge change to go from this very successful career in hospitality to becoming a nonprofit owner and founder and CEO, and going out into developing nations to reach those that no one normally even thinks about.
Yeah. So I grew up in an intergenerational home where my grandparents lived with us. So I learned from the get-go the importance of that grandparent-grandchild relationship. And my grandparents were really influential on who I am today. And so I could see like God preparing me for this work that I'm doing today. But I have the gift of hospitality and love to serve others. So I went into that hospitality industry. And 4 years ago, my family, we moved from Illinois to Florida. And I sold my hospitality business and wanted a job where I was making a difference every day in people's lives. So my family said, well, why don't you go run an assisted living? It's very much like running a hotel. So I did. I ran an assisted living memory care for about a year and a half. And it just was not where I was supposed to be. And God gave me this vision to go care for seniors in places where there's no one and nothing, where they have nothing and no one caring for them. So I left the corporate America and I started to took 2 months to pray about this, to research it, to investigate this need. And what I found was we're in a global aging crisis, and many people don't know that. But 60% of the aging population live in developing nations right now. And by 2030, that number is going up to 80%. And there's no resources. Their government is not focusing on the senior population. There's not AARP, there's not Social Security. So they're really in dire straits. And so when I went to the mission field and did some research, what I found was that the seniors are abandoned, they're abused, they're neglected, and for many different reasons. Some of the reasons are that just lack of education of the aging process, that they don't know what dementia is, what Alzheimer's is. So if mom is acting a little off and doesn't remember your name, they think that they're possessed by demons, and they do exorcism. And so a lot of it is education that we have to do. Some of it is just fleeing the country. The younger generation is fleeing the country for a better opportunity and can't bring mom and dad with them. So I found the need was great. It started out with just assisted living in developing nations, but God in his tricky ways just kept on growing and growing this vision. And when I thought, like, we need to get to the root of the problem, we need to fix something. I don't want to just build housing. That doesn't solve anything. So how do we solve this crisis? And what was revealed was it's that younger generation. We need to get to the children, and we need to teach the children the circle of life, that your parents took care of you, and there comes a time when you have to care for them. So what we are doing is we're pairing orphan children with orphan seniors, and we're building an intergenerational home for them. And they form a unique new family where the seniors impart their wisdom on the children, and then the children learn to honor and respect their seniors. And I said, it's really the forgotten commandment, that commandment of honoring your mother and father. That's what we have to focus on. And, you know, we don't even do a good job of it here in the United States, of honoring our parents and honoring our elders. So the need is great all around the world, and it doesn't matter where you live, you can serve this population. And it's something, like I said, God, I think, wants us to focus on. And I found when you serve others, that's when you find that true joy in your life. That's what gives you that purpose. And we need to take our eyes off of ourselves, focus on Jesus, and focus on that commandment of loving others. And so we are in Hands for Life. We are in our first project, which is in Nigeria. And what we have is a 5-acre campus that we will build this intergenerational home on. They'll house both of the generations. There'll be caregivers 24/7 for the seniors, but then there'll be missionary parents to love and guide the children. And then we have a career workshop. So there'll be like woodworking, a cooking workshop, arts and crafts, and the seniors will teach the children whatever their craft and trade is. And that gives purpose to the seniors, and it really rewrites that narrative of these children. So when they age out, instead of being put on the streets, they are now equipped with job skills, life skills, and also the armor of God. And so they can be launched out successfully. And our vision is that they pair with a business person in their country, and they go start senior living for profit. So we're creating jobs, we're stimulating the economy, and we're empowering them to take care of their own people.
Wow, that is such an innovative model. And I know that I have seen a few examples in the United States where they take children's care facilities and elder care facilities and put them next door to one another. But I have not heard of anything like this. Is this a brand new concept?
So intergenerational relationships, that's not a new thing. That has been studied, and it's a win-win on both sides. And there's organizations out in the world that are focusing on pairing the two together, but doing it in the way that we are doing it is something very unique where they're living together. We're taking two vulnerable population groups and combining them to make this new family. That's very cutting edge, new. And what I'm doing is collaborating with senior living experts all around the world to design and operate the best senior living campus using very little resources. And how can we use biophilic design to design bringing nature in and using principles that increase the longevity of life, but also the quality of life. So there's a lot of innovative concepts going into this Hands for Life project.
That's incredible and exciting at the same time. I love this model. This is so new and so potentially impactful. You could change the world truly with this concept and this model. Are you asking people to come alongside you to become part of this? What is it that people who are listening can do to support you, and how can they get in touch with you to find out more?
Yeah, the need is great. The Bible says that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. So yes, we need people to come and help. I say I feel like Nehemiah. I'm just the cupbearer. How am I supposed to do all this myself? But God provides those people. So we need experts in child education, childcare. We need experts in senior living. We need people who want to sponsor a grandparent or grandchild. We have a program going for just $39 a month. You can sponsor one of our family members and they'll send you videos, and you can send videos, and you can even go with us and meet your person. We need corporate sponsors. We need individual, like monthly sponsors, because we are a nonprofit. So all of this information can be found on our website, and the website is h4lworld.org.
And in this second portion of our discussion with Stacy Shewey, we are going to get into how this can bless those who support the ministry and begin to bless the world and change it in interesting and new and innovative ways. Stacy, how could this be a blessing to people here, people that are listening? How will they be blessed by understanding the circle of life, by looking at your model? Is this something that can individually affect each one of the listeners? And kind of explain that for those who are just tuning in for the second half.
Yeah, individually, again, we are called to serve others. And I look at it, just to share a personal story with you. In 2022, I had a very difficult year, and we know that God says that we are not guaranteed a life without hardship. And 2022, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then on June 2nd, I had surgery to remove the cancer. And just 3 days later, my 24-year-old son fell to his death. And so, man, and then the end of the year, it was, in the summer months was radiation treatment, and it was just a really tough year. And then in October, my husband lost his job and he was laid off, and we had no income because I quit my job to do this ministry. So it was a year full of trials and tribulations. And I said, I am Job. I had it all in 1 year, but God was so good to me and so faithful. And it was because I went running to him and fell in the arms of Jesus that I am able to get out of bed, not have to turn to depression medications or alcohol or anything. It was the love of Jesus that provides for all of our needs. You know, if we focus on ourselves and we focus on just our woes, we will live a life of just sorrow. And that's where all the anxiety comes in and fear comes in. But if we are truly focusing on that second commandment, my son lived his life just loving others, and testimony after testimony of how Alex loved everybody, was there for everybody in their darkest needs. I had 4 people tell me he saved their lives. So I want people to know that focusing on that second commandment of loving others as yourself is so important. So in your community, you can go find seniors to love on, you can find children to love on, your family. Just focus on service. That's what brings you peace and joy in life.
Oh, thank you for sharing that very difficult and personal story to help people realize what got you through it was loving others. And you have certainly done an innovative job of finding ways to connect those who need love with those who need love in order to create benefit for everyone in Hands for Life. Tell the listeners, where you are at your stage of development right now and what exactly they can do to kind of come on board with your stage of development and be part of this groundbreaking, innovative concept that you have developed.
Well, we're in the fundraising stage right now to raise $100,000 to secure the land. And then we need an additional $2 million to build and operate for 3 years. So definitely corporate sponsorships and individual sponsorships, foundations, all of that is welcome and needed to move forward. But we also have already begun our community outreach. So we have a group of 20 seniors that we are caring for, and we have 4 children that we care for. So we need to find sponsors for these lovely people. We need a sponsor to put the children in school, buy school supplies and clothing for them. We need all kinds of medical devices, walkers, wheelchairs, healthcare for the seniors. So when you sponsor a senior, when you sponsor a grandparent or grandchild, you're helping to give that life-sustaining food and medical care to them. So we need sponsors, and then we need prayer. We need strong prayer warriors to come and pray for Hands for Life, pray for the people in our care, and that we are able to go and do our first mission, which is the Great Commission. And we are looking to spread the gospel from womb to tomb. And so I said, how many times are the seniors neglected and people don't even know that they're there? And it's so important in this last season of their life to witness to them so that they hear the gospel. So there's so many facets to come and join us in this vision and mission.
Are you planning mission trips for sponsors to go with you to go see the land and meet the people that they are sponsoring?
Yeah, we are. It's so exciting. So anybody can sign up with us. We have several different trips in the works to go. So when you do sponsor a grandparent or grandchild, you can send them videos. They will send you videos and pictures, and you'll hear the stories about the difference that you're making in their life. But if you want to go and give them a hug and pray on them, you have the opportunity to do that. And for the children, you get to go and see these children and meet them and hopefully watch them grow. And if you sponsor them, you can come to their graduation. Like, how fun will that be to be able to interact on that intimate level? So yeah, mission work, we have homes that need new roofs. We have people who need to hear the gospel. There's all kinds of important work to be done.
Tell us a little bit more about what listeners need to understand about your future hopes for Hands for Life, and for people understanding more about the Circle of Life worldwide.
Yeah, so Hands for Life is all about lending a hand, not a handout. So we're focused on educating that younger generation to care for the older generation. And when we go in to a place to do a project, we're only doing one project per country, because it is not about some foreign agency going in and knowing everything, building, an intergenerational home and coming in to save the day. That's not what Hands for Life is about. We're about solution. We're about empowering and equipping the nationals to care for their own. So we have an educational program to train up this younger generation on what does it look like to care correctly for the older generation. So one campus per country, because we vision training this younger generation so they can go, and we'll give them our senior living package. We'll wrap it up with a big bow on how to run an assisted living the best model possible. And our hope is that they go open up a for-profit senior living places around their country, taking care of their own.
So you're equipping them to stimulate the economy as well.
Correct. So we're creating jobs. Even within our campus, we hire caregivers, 24-hour caregivers, and we assess the children. What is their passion? What are their gifts? And so if they're one who like to get their hands dirty, they're out growing the crops in our campus, growing food. If they're more of a sales-oriented kind of guy, they're taking the abundance of the crops and they're learning how to sell it to the market. If they're healthcare, they're job shadowing our nurse and caregivers. If they're business-minded, they're job shadowing the executive director. So it is the circle of life where the older generation is pouring into the younger generation, teaching them their job skills, teaching the culture, teaching them all the history in their country. And it's a beautiful concept of this circle of life.
That sounds so wonderful. I just can't wait to see this grow into fruition. What is one last thing that you want to leave with the audience to make sure that they understand about your message?
That this is something very unique. This is first of its kind endeavor that God has entrusted me with this vision and with this mission. And that this is something that is so large and so important, and it's important to God. And this is something that I can't do alone. This is going to take the body of Christ coming together, all of us, to make sure that we are caring for those two vulnerable populations from the womb to tomb, sharing the gospel, teaching the circle of life, and just caring for the orphans and the widows, because there are no orphans in heaven. So we all need to come together to fulfill God's vision and mission. And I said, I'm not the CEO of this project. Jesus is the CEO of it. So we need to be obedient and humble and be the hands and feet. So I welcome people to reach out to me, to get in touch with me through our website, and come join me in this beautiful, beautiful mission and vision.
So tell us how we can access your website and do more to support you by getting in touch with you.
Our website is H, the number 4, world.org. So h4lworld.org. And we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram. They can find me on my LinkedIn, Stacy Shewey. So lots of different ways to get a hold of us.
I imagine you'll probably be posting some of the testimonies of the people that you're impacting in the countries where your ministry is existing right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, and Tina, if they go to our website, sign up for our newsletter. We don't like bombard you with emails. It's just once a month. I send out a little beautiful newsletter that gives pictures and stories of the impact that our partners are making, with your donations, with your support. What is it doing in these countries? So the newsletter is a good way to stay up to date.
Well, I imagine that those are very heartwarming stories. And I'm sure that you who are listening cannot wait to hear those wonderful stories of people whose lives are already being changed in this brand new one-of-a-kind ministry that is going to change the world. So for all of you listening, make sure that you get in touch with Stacy Shewey at Hands for Life and her website. And of course, I also hope that you come back for the next episode of Flourish-Meant. Flourish-Meant is part of the Spark Media Network and can be found on the Edify app.